My mom is in the basement, and I need emergency, and I need hello.
Where at?
I'm at, and I'll go ask my mommy. Mommy, I'll tell you where we at. I'll tell you. I need.
Let me speak to your mom.
No, she's almost dead. Mommy, where are we at? Tell me, I got the police on the phone. Tell me. Mommy, tell me. Where we at? Where we at? Where should I? I said, I called 911. Where we at? Where we at? I was outside. Yeah. I'll tell them we at. We are at. I'm outside and Mommy.
Let me speak to your mom.
I don't know where we at.
Okay, put your mom on the phone if she's there.
She's almost dead, please.
Okay, you need, I can't help you without you helping me. Let me see who else in the house.
Nobody's else in the house.
Okay, you need to give me an address. You need to calm down and give me an address. I don't know where you're at. You have to give me an address.
Address? This address?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Stop screaming.
My mommy was dead.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I need you to calm down and give me a location.
All right. Please help me. You promise you will help me?
I'm going to help you once you help me, okay? Go on the porch. Can you open up the door?
No.
Do you see any mail?
No. I can tell you the address.
What's the address?
If I can find it. It is, I don't see it, but I'm trying to look.
Okay, calm down.
Okay.
Is there any mail on the table or in a drawer? How old are you?
I'm 8 years old.
Do you see any mail on the table or any mail in the drawer?
No.
Do you see any mail on your mom's dresser?
My mom doesn't live here.
Okay, you were just screaming at your mom. Who do you live with?
Huh?
Who do you live with?
I live with my mother.
Your mother?
Yes.
Okay. Look on her dresser. You just said your mom don't live there.
Yeah, but I'm looking for everything and I can't find anything. Please. She's almost dead.
Okay, you need to calm down and find me something with an address. I can't help you without an address.
Okay, I'll try to look outside again.
Open up the door and look at the porch, up on the porch. Open up the door. Look on the porch. Give me those numbers off your porch.
All right.
You said no one else is there. I hear someone in the back.
Oh, that's my sister.
Okay, how old is your sister?
Okay, I know her address now.
How old is your sister?
She's 6. I know her address now.
What is the street?
I can tell you, this, but it's...
You have to tell me the street.
Okay, it's... Yes.
Is this a house or is this a two-family flat?
It's a house.
What is wrong with your mom?
She got shot.
Somebody shot her?
Yes.
Who shot your mom?
I don't know. Some guy.
Where's your mom at?
Downstairs in the basement.
Who is the guy?
I don't know. She was just some guy.
Is she bleeding from where?
Yes, she's bleeding from, I don't know, from her head or something. I think it's from her head.
Okay, I'll request police and EMS.
She's still breathing. My dad is not.
Your dad said, let me speak to your dad.
No, he's dead. My mom is still breathing.
So your mom and dad was shot?
Yes.
When an 8-year-old girl called 911 in a panic, she desperately wanted someone to save her mother's life. Though most dispatchers quickly spring into action, on this night, when every second counted, a little girl was made to wait 4 minutes before help would even be sent her way. After the 911 dispatcher unexpectedly hung up this call, leaving an 8-year-old girl without guidance as her mother lay dying before her, police soon arrived at the scene to find the 26-year-old couple, Monica Botello and Purcell Carson, dead from gunshot wounds in the basement of the home. The only remaining people in the house were the brave little girl who made the phone call and her 6-year-old sister. They were found upstairs, with the 8-year-old consoling her younger sibling, displaying courage much like she had just done during the 911 call. Her desperate and heartbreaking pleas to the operator were not enough to save the girl's mother, so with police now at the scene of the crime, the best anyone could hope for was justice. You may be deeply disappointed with the dispatcher's job performance during the 911 call, as her lack of empathy, patience, and understanding would ultimately result in an investigation of its own. But for now, law enforcement had a killer to catch. After investigating, the police found that all signs pointed to one man, 42-year-old Derek Smith. This was thanks to prison discharge papers found at the scene bearing Smith's name. Smith had spent time in prison with Purcell Carson. It is worth noting that Derek Smith had been behind bars for robbery and kidnapping charges. When police showed photos of Derek Smith to Purcell's 8-year-old stepdaughter, she was able to identify him as one of the people that entered the house on March 1st. In their efforts to apprehend Derek Smith, police released the audio of Monica Botello's daughter's 911 call. They hoped that this would increase their chances of finding Derek Smith, as those who knew the man would most likely feel it was their duty to turn him in after hearing such a heartbreaking audio tape. This plan paid off, and though it required the assistance of the U.S. Marshal's Office, Derek Smith was arrested in May of the same year, around 2 months after committing the chilling double murder. Smith was charged, and with this cold-blooded killer in custody, police were about to unravel the horrifying truth about what really happened in the Carson basement on that fateful night. March 1st, 2010, Detroit, Michigan. Derek Smith had recently visited a local sandwich restaurant to meet up with 2 acquaintances. Smith reportedly floated the idea of violently robbing Purcell Carson. Derek shared how he had spent time in prison with Purcell and how he believed him to have money and prescription drugs inside the house where Purcell was staying. This house just happened to be the home of Purcell Carson's mother, though luckily she was not home on this night. Derek Smith and his 2 criminal companions then headed to the Purcell home, where Purcell, Monica, and her 2 daughters were enjoying some family time together. Though Purcell Carson was not the biological father of either of Monica's 2 young girls, he was by all accounts a loving father figure to them. After arriving outside the home, Derek Smith and his unrelated friend, Devi Smith, forced their way inside the building. Their accomplice remained outside. Once Devi and Derek were inside, they aimed the guns at Purcell and demanded money and drugs. Fearing for his life, Purcell Carson agreed to hand over the cash that he had, but as he did, Monica and her daughters were taken and held in a room upstairs. Sometime after, Monica was led down into the basement and tied up alongside Purcell Carson. Both were under the constant threat of being shot. Meanwhile, Monica's 2 daughters kept themselves hidden upstairs. Purcell Carson and Monica Botello were then shot in a cruel and callous act of murder. The 2 killers, Derek and Devi, quickly fled the scene, and Monica's 8-year-old daughter made an exceptionally brave dash to the basement to find her mom and stepfather living in the center of a macabre crime scene. The little girl was undoubtedly shocked by the gruesome sight of her parents, but noticing her mother still breathing, the youngster grabbed Monica's cell phone and called emergency services for help. While this 8-year-old was talking to the, at times, unsympathetic dispatcher, she was doing so just a few feet away from a truly terrifying image. Purcell was dead, her mom was quickly fading away, and this second grader was now the oldest person in the house. She desperately needed assistance, but did not know her address as this was not her home. She was simply visiting Purcell Carson with her mom and sister. The fact that the little girl managed to remain calm enough to eventually give the dispatcher an address is undeniably admirable. Police arrived at the house, and Monica was rushed to hospital where she later died from the gunshot wound she had sustained to the back of her head. Purcell, on the other hand, was pronounced dead at the scene. When questioned by professionals about the night of her mom's murder, the 8-year-old girl was able to recollect the evening in stunning detail. In addition to being able to identify Derek Smith and his accomplice Debbie Smith, she also shared the final words that her mother spoke to her and her sister. "They told Mommy and us to go into the bathroom and lay down. She kissed us on the cheek and said, 'No matter what happens, I will always love you.'" Her accounts helped a jury to find Derek Smith guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder, along with 2 counts of torture. The murder charges came with a life sentence without the possibility of parole, and the torture convictions added 60 to 90 years onto Smith's sentence. Derek's accomplice, Debbie Smith, managed to evade law enforcement for almost 6 months, but was eventually apprehended and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of torture, and a felony firearm conviction. Like Derek Smith, Debbie received a life sentence without the possibility of parole, with an additional 23 to 50 years for the torture charge and an additional 2 years for the firearm charge. As for the dispatcher and her performance during Monica Botello's daughter's 911 call, she was subjected to investigation, and authorities declared that her demeanor was lacking in some areas and that she should have placed more emphasis on getting an emergency vehicle to the Carson residence. We will never know if a more prompt reaction from the dispatcher could have saved Monica Botello's life, but a more understanding and gentler tone used with her 8-year-old daughter would almost certainly have made this unthinkably grim situation less so for the young girl. Monica's daughters may have survived, though this senseless killing robbed them of their parents and their chances of a normal life. Whether Derek Smith intended to leave the Carson house with blood on his hands or not, this heartless killer chose to take the lives of 2 people, all in an attempt to gain money and prescription drugs. The only positive of this tragic story is that a little girl's courage was enough to put 2 diabolical criminals in prison for the rest of their days. Does this 911 dispatcher have to take some of the blame for Monica Botello's death? The answer may change little about this case, but analyzing such incidents can go a long way to ensure that they never happen again.